Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I've been in a place lately, right? So when you're in a healing or fixing business, you have a lot of time to think because you studying and you researching and things of that nature, right? So Jonathan asked me to come here and present on fatherhood, and I'm like, cool, I can do that. I do that all the time. But when I sit down and hear his story, I'm like, oh, here we go again. And the reason why I say that is because a few months ago, I had an encounter. I was in my office, and as I was preparing to go work with a father, a thought came to mind, or I heard something. Let's just say I heard something say, you still did not watch the film. Like, trying to be naive, like, what are you talking about? But I knew exactly what the voice was talking about. So, like, I really don't want to do this. So what I wound up doing was I had to pop open YouTube and go back and watch a video. See, what happened back in 1995 when I used to play football at Michigan State, that was the last, or I would say the beginning of the end, right? It was the beginning of the end because prior to that, I just knew I was going pro. I knew I was going to the NFL, right? That was my lifelong dream. Well, in 1995, when we lost to Nebraska, after the game was over, Nick Saban at the time challenged the whole team, right? He was not happy with how we performed. And I knew I didn't give, I gave my best, I gave my all, but I knew that I was going to be one of the ones that was singled out that didn't perform at the highest level. So lo and behold, I was one of the ones called out, and I had a difficult time with being challenged. So we had to go and watch the film. You had to go back and watch your mistakes. Well, your boy, I somehow come up with an injury. So I can't go watch the film with you. So while the whole team is watching the film, I'm in the room with the trainer getting some medical treatment or some medical assistance. That was 1995. 1995. And it wasn't until August of 2018 that I had to go and watch the film because it was too painful to watch the film of something that could have, that never was. So Jonathan asked me to come here and speak, and I'm like, really, Jonathan? After hearing that, because in 2002, my wife and I was going to have a child. And here publicly, now I have to watch the film all over again in front of you guys, something I refused to watch because it was too painful. And even me going through that process, I never even talked about it. This is the first time I've ever talked about it. And so, like, even through the process of me and my wife losing our child, like, there was nobody there to, like, rescue me. Like, everybody was tending to my wife. Even I was tending to my wife because, hey, I'm a new husband, about to be this new father. I got to hold up. I have to be the one to hold us all together. But I think back, like, there was nobody there at the time, like, trying to rescue me. I didn't have a place to go. And I get it. I get it. I totally get it. But I think that's where we drop the ball at many times as in our field, is that the father sometimes is an afterthought. Like, he's an option. Like he's an option. It's not like he's not a priority. And I do a lot of work in the Flint, Michigan area. And doing my work, people, sometimes we want to go for these grant funds. And, we need money to do the work that we do. And I look at a lot of people, going crazy and fighting over these dollars. And people say, Shon, won't you get into this space? I'm like, no, I don't want to get in that space. I don't want to get in the kid space. I have 3 children at home that I love, that are beautiful. But that's not my lane. That's not my lane. My lane is fathers. Give me the people that people don't want. Give me the difficult ones. I understand. I'm quite sure you have one at home. Give me him. Right? And that's my thing. Give me him. Because what happens most of the time, he gets broken at an early age and nobody goes in to try to save him. Because when he was a kid, it was just like, oh, he's just a kid. But we don't fix him. It's easier to raise a healthy boy than it is to fix a broken man. That's what Frederick Douglass said. And we have so many broken men walking around, and sometimes we go into the houses of these women, and the father's just sitting there, and you just like, oh, he's just another deadbeat. No, you don't know what he has gone through to become who he was. He didn't ask to be like that. Life happens to some of us. Life just happens. See, people don't know your story. They don't know why you are the way you are. And a lot of times us as men, you think that we don't want to talk. That's a lie. My brother just said I could sit up here for hours and tell you my story. You give us a platform, we'll talk. We want to talk. We want to talk. Just give us a place and a platform. We just don't want to talk just to talk. And so what happens when you're not speaking our language, what we do, I told you I go off on the side. So just stay with me. Just stay with me. So what we do many a times, we take our chair, we take our phone, we take our remote, we take our porn, we take our drugs, and we go in our cave. Because it's safer. Because it's safer. So when you're going into these homes and speaking to these women, giving them their services, you got to think about him. Like, what does he need? He's just sitting there. He can't just come out and tell you, hey, I'm drowning. That's just not in his DNA just to do that. He'll say, I'm good. I'm good. No, you're not. So what can we do as professionals to take that extra step? What can we do to really help break the cycle of a repeated cycle? I decided that I was going to break the cycle because I wanted to give my children options and choices that I didn't have. See, I remember it was yesterday. Like I was sitting on my porch waiting for my father to come home, right? I was waiting and I had these letters. I had a big bag and it had full of letters on the inside, Jonathan. It had hundreds of letters from universities who was recruiting me, who wanted me to come play football for them. And I was like, man, I can't wait till he come home. See, he didn't live with us, but he would come around every once in a while. So I'm like, this is that big moment that me and my father can connect. Because look, hey, every dad wants a son who plays, football. So we're going to connect. So he pulls up in this long stretched Cadillac. Man, it was brown, velvet seats on the inside. That sucker was long. So he gets out and he walks up to, walking up to go into the house. And I'm like, hey, Nate, look. Yes, side note, I called him Nate. I couldn't call him Dad. couldn't call him dad because he had a family on the other side of town. So they can call him dad, but we had to call him Nate. So you talk about a broken boy trying to become a strong man. So as he walk up these steps, I'm like, hey, he about to validate me. And I tell him, look at all of these letters. And his response to me was, you too small. So instead of him speaking identity, instead of him speaking life, he crushed me even more. So I paint these pictures because I want you to understand to the magnitude that some of these men that you encounter, some of their stories and some of the things that they deal with, that they just don't shut down just to shut down. We don't shut down just to shut down. And sometimes we can be intimidated by what we don't know. Because you're walking in the house as a professional. You know this. You went to school and you have your pad. So I don't want to tell you that I don't know how. Because you're another one that's going to look down upon me. So you call me in to speak, Jonathan. So if we want to do better, right? So we have to be transparent, right? So from an African-American standpoint, with you as a white woman walk into the house, I'm already intimidated. That's the reality of it. Because they look at it, it's like the man is coming into my house. Now I am less than. Now I have to reach my hand out and ask you for some help. So I'm just saying we have to see from both sides. And sometimes you don't even know that you had that authority and power. You don't even ask for it. We just give it to you. Because we've been trained to think that way without our parents ever telling you or telling us. It's been ingrained. So it's big. So we talk about infant mortality. We talk about engaging dads. This is a large thing. So what can we do on the front lines? Like we just have to be, we have to be transparent. We have to be aware. So the first thing, if I was to give you anything, the first thing that we have to do, we have to watch our own film. What do I mean by that? Your biases. Your unresolved issues. That when you're walking into their home, what unresolved issues, what film, what things are you running from? What things do you refuse to confront before you even want to help me? You know, when you're on the airplane, they tell you to put the oxygen mask on your face first. And then you're walking into my house to fix me, and you need to be fixed. You're broken. And I get it. You have to do what you have to do. But I'm just saying, stop running from the film. Just watch it. Where can I get fixed? What can I do to become better? You don't know all things. You don't know everything. And I know I don't. So the first thing is that we have to watch the film. If I was to give you something else to do, is that we have to be more empathetic and more, the thing that opened up my eyes of working with people, see, I have my beliefs. The thing that opened up everything for me is when I went to work in a prison. That's when everything unlocked. Because I went in as a Christian chaplain. So my mind, I'm going to convert all of these inmates into Christians. We're going to do this one person at a time. Come on, in Jesus' name, that's a demon, and we're going to cast that demon out. We gonna cast this demon out. I'm just being real. But then you get on the front lines, you start working, you start serving. You're like, yo, it's a bigger picture. It's a bigger picture. Shon, it's not about your faith, bruh. Your faith is your faith. If that's your faith, you serve. You serve. I tell my children all the time, you honor all people. Why? Not because they deserve to be honored, because you're honorable. You serve. Why? Because you're a servant at heart. They may not deserve to be served, but because you're a servant, because this was you was called to do. That's why you do what you do. And many times we forget why we got in this profession in the first place. We walk in a house and we smell weed, and we like, how can you do that? Well, you haven't walked in their shoes. That may be their only way of escaping temporarily. And I don't justify it. But I'm just saying, we just need to be more empathetic and understanding. I had a guy 2 days ago in my group, black brother. And he said, I get it. He was like, I understand now, because the group that I had the other day was about 6 Caucasian men and about 5 black men. And I had the conversation that day was race and equity, right? So, a group of men come together and I work with them. So on purpose, I didn't post to social media what we was going to talk about. So I wait till they got there. So when they got there, we said, we're gonna talk about this race issue. Boy, you should have saw them. They're like, Shon, we've been here with you for a while, so we trust you, but I don't think this is a good look, bruh. But I said, before we even go any further, as men, I know right now, you want to run, you want to hide, because it's difficult. I said, but for the first time, you're not going to run and you're not going to hide. You're going to learn how to stay in the fight, learn how to communicate, even if it's uncomfortable. I said, I guarantee you when we leave here today, you're going to feel so much better. You should have saw me. It was all tense, all tense, all tense. And it was over. There wasn't a dry eye in the room. There was a lot of repenting going on both sides. And a black brother in there said, I get it. He's like, I used to get offended when I used to see somebody white walk across the street or clutch their purse. He said, I got robbed 6 months ago in my own neighborhood. And he said, I find myself now when I see somebody who look like me, I'm crossing the street. I'm locking the door. And he said, I never thought about or put myself in their shoes or somebody else's shoes of their experience. So our assignment in this field is that we have to see from every angle. We have to see from a side of a Muslim. We have to see it from the side of an atheist. We have to see every angle from a Wiccan. When you walk in, they don't believe what you believe. They don't want to raise their children the way that you raise your children. So my thing is, we try. I give an example of how sometimes teachers try to move children away from playing sports. And I'm like, yo, why would you do that? That's their only way in their mind of getting out. My thing is, if a basketball player, if he only plays with one hand, he becomes self-check. I'm like, as an educator, won't you just give him a wicked crossover? Football or basketball is his right hand. Teach him how to dribble with his left and say, hey, you know that you can also do this while you do that. So in this profession, we have to be able to have a crossover, to be able to go into different environments and give an answer. And it's okay to say, hey, I don't have the solution. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to do. Let me get the information for you. So one, again, right? I need us to watch the film where you're working with these males. And we look at a lot of the statistics that you brought up. I almost bought into the propaganda that black men were not good fathers. And here I'm a black man, and I know I'm involved. I know I'm engaged. But the propaganda that they put on TV say that we're not present. And man, just about everywhere I go, I see a black man or a father involved. And then those that I serve, I see why they may not be involved or not engaged. But I'm like, man, I drank that Kool-Aid for years, looking into the mirror like, Shon, you're just one of the few. No, you're not, bruh. Made me to believe that I was, like self-righteous, hey, you're an anomaly. No, bro, that's what you're supposed to do. You don't get a reward for that. That's what you're supposed to do. So we have to be careful that we do not drink the Kool-Aid as we serve. We're servants. Don't forget that. We are servants. We don't get whole lot of accolades, but we're servants at heart. Come on, we don't get a whole lot of, pats or attaboys on the back. People come to us because there's a problem. So make sure we watch our own film, right? That's important. That's how we become really, really good at what we do. That's how we change culture. People struggle working with fathers. I'm like, bring them to me. Bring them to me. They want to be healthy. They want to be whole. They want to make a difference. So when you walk into those homes, be a servant. I'm here to serve. How can I serve you? What are your missing gaps? You can't read? Okay, I understand. Hey, and let's see what we can do. I understand. We're not going to make excuses for it. That's the same thing with some of the men that I work with. She's not going to allow me. No, that's not a good excuse, bruh. How can you be creative to establish a relationship? How can you be creative? How can you be creative? What can you do as an agency? So they don't have, if you don't have, one of the things I brought up to the Genesee County that I work with, you go into the homes of these moms, right? And you want to serve the mother and give her the resources. But what if the dad is not there? So how do we get that information to him? So he's not coming to those visits. So let's put something together so that at least when he does have his parenting time, that we can at least give him some of the information. Let's have links. People watch social media. At least have some links or text messages to where he can at least, get the information of safe sleep, because the mom may not be giving him that information. But at least he can go somewhere, like it's intentional stuff that's in the packet, that when he picks up the child, well, she's like, well, he doesn't talk to me. Well, just give him this packet. So we just have to be creative to get this voice out. I had no idea about safe sleep. I'm telling you, I was horrible. My kids lucky that they here. I'm serious, man. I started going to these safe sleep meetings. I'm like, wow. Like, I don't believe I did that. I just thought it was right. That's because I was trying to be a good dad. Fall asleep on my chest. Sleep right next to me. Let's put stuff in the crib with you to keep you occupied. Not knowing that was putting my children in a dangerous spot. But they didn't tell me. Right? So we have an assignment as an organization, as a people, to serve. John, I can go. I just feel that's where we can plant. I think the panel would be able to speak to a lot more things. I can leave my slides. This is quite sure we've seen this a lot of times, this one image. But my point in this slide here is like, what do you see? Like when you walk into the homes, like what do you see through your perspective, right? Your lenses. What do you see? Like, what do you see when you go in? And we all have biases. Like, what do you see when you serve? Do you give them 100%? Do you give them everything that you have like you give every other client? It's important. That was, my days. See how old that was? That's old. Here's my name. That's where the beginning and the end. But now I could talk about it. My kids, they was just happy to see their dad on TV, and I was hiding that from them, not giving them the opportunity to experience it. They didn't care. They're just like, man, that's my dad. The power of dad is so amazing. We have to encourage that. We have to. Here, you have all of these different athletes, right? He's a center. He's a center. He was a guard, could play forward and center, right? Guard, forward. What's my point? Play your position. I can't do what you do, and I don't want to. I'm not sweet at that, but I'm sweet at working with fathers. So play your role. How do I fit in this big picture? Play your position, play your role. Rethink of how you have your structure set up in your agency. Do you have the right people in the right position? Do you have the right people at the front lines walking into the house? If that's not the right person, how can we switch? It could be, because if it's about, is it about the dollars or is it about making impact? And if it's about making impact, we put the right people in the right place. That's what it should be about, making impact, not about the dollars, right? We got to get at the core of us and at them. Get at the core. Relationship. I have 4 R's. Relationship. It's all about the relation. When you walk in the doors, what's the first thing you saying? Are you judging? It's not about what you say, it's how you say it. What is your facial, especially, some of you women, those facial expressions are something, right? Just like, no, I'm good. But we see it. Relationships is key. We have to be relevant. Know the language. It's hard for me to keep up. I'm just telling you, I have a 15-year-old at home. It's hard to keep up with the language, but I have to be relevant if I'm going to make a difference. If she's going to listen to me, I have to be relevant. I'm not talking about losing my core values, but I have to know the language. I have to know what you're talking about. Give them the information. When I got information, now I'm running around here telling people how important it is for breastfeeding. And I'm calling my niece, making sure, back in Jersey, making sure that she doesn't have anything in the crib. So once I got the information, now I could be an ambassador for you. As a man, we have influence, right? So use us, give us that information. Let me be an ambassador, connect with the right people with the resources. And know the resources, know the agencies you send them to. Not because they just supposed to serve, because some of those jokers over there, come on, y'all, you know. We have to connect them to the right people. But at the core, I want to leave you with this. Serve. Serve. Just flat out serve. Be the best servant you can be. Just be the best servant. I guarantee you would make greater impact if you just serve. I went to the prison, I served. I used to have men knocking down the doors to get into my programs. They didn't get any. See, in the prison system, They want to take classes that they can get certificates so they can take it to the parole board to help them get out sooner. When they signed up for mine, I let them know, you're not getting anything. If you want this, you're not getting a certification. I'm not writing a letter of recommendation. I want only those in here who want to change. And I had like 300 to 500 men showing up to my classes. I'm telling you, we started out with just like 30. I was having to have groups almost every other day, 3 times a day. They adjusted schedules because these men was coming out of the drove saying, I want to be fathered. I want to be fathered. And if we can connect the dots and raise up men in your community, within your agencies, to be ambassadors, to speak the heart and the language of fathers, your numbers will go through the roof. Fathers is where it's at. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. It's a game changer. My wife and my children, they walk with a different swag because they're being led, not because I'm sweet. I'm just telling you, I'm connected. I'm serious. I'm saying this because when men are around other men that make them better, I want to be better. I want to be around other strong men. And then when we see a man that is failing, we're going to rescue him. So put a little bit more emphasis on raising up men in your community. I'm telling you, your agency will change if you just reach the heart of those fathers. Thank you.